Okay, welcome to the Brand Currency Podcast, where we break down branding and design in a way that actually makes sense for your business. My name is Charles McGill. I'm your host. I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
Hi, I'm Jonsi McGill, his wife and partner in business and life.
So today's a special episode. We're going to be talking about one of my wife's fan favorites is Beyonce. That's right. We also going to be talking about Taylor Swift and Rihanna and how they're able to build these loyal fan bases so that anything they drop, people are buying. So we'll get into that today. Babe, how you feeling about that?
I'm excited. I mean, I'm not fully into the Beehive, but I am definitely a fan.
What does that mean? What do you mean not fully into the Beehive?
Oh, the Beehive. It's like, it's real serious, Charles.
I know. I mean, I've heard. But I know we spent thousands of dollars on Beyonce.
Like, I don't follow her like that,
Okay.
because, I get most of my cultural information and cultural news from you.
True.
So I don't really follow her like that. I really don't have time.
Okay.
I'm a busy mommy.
Yes.
I'm a busy, business owner. So I don't have time for all that. But I am a fan of her music.
Yes.
I just love her impact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she is so inspiring
Yeah.
as a Black woman who just is holding her own and just is standing in her power. I love Beyonce.
Yeah, I mean, I
and
know
the
you
whole
love her.
Renaissance album is like my favorite thing on the entire planet, aside
I'm
from my
very
children
much aware
and
because
you.
my pockets made me aware. Because I
Yes.
know that we definitely went to a different city and got some good seats just so we could have a Beyonce night.
And it was so memorable.
It was great.
And worth it.
Yes, I can't front. It actually was really good. But what we're going to be talking about today is, why is it that when Beyonce announces a new album, her fans pretty much shut down the internet, right? It drops, it does really well. How is it that Taylor Swift can do a worldwide tour, sell out everywhere, make, I don't know, I think she made $1 billion,
She
something like
did.
that. How is it that Rihanna can, drop makeup and different things, whatever she does with her brand Savage or
Fenty.
and people just, it's Savage, right? Savage
Both,
Fenty?
yeah.
Okay.
Or is it, see, I don't really follow.
It's something like
It's
that.
something like that.
And the thing is, it's not just celebrity power, it's also about strategic branding. So we're going to get into that today.
Wonderful. I'm excited.
Okay, so the things we're going to also talk about is like what makes people obsess with certain brands and figures, the psychology of things being exclusive, right? Exclusivity, like how that plays on people, the storytelling as well, and also how over time that builds trust. So, basically we're going to also talk about like how business can learn from these celebrities and how they have created these like brands that allow them to keep pretty much, dipping into that pool, if you will, that customer pool every so often and keep collecting money, right? They keep buying everything that they do. So we're going to be talking about all that. All right.
So I'm really excited because people don't understand it's not just about having a brand, right? So that's just not enough to have a brand. You have to have some type of movement behind it and, create this culture for your brand almost, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of strategy in how they do what they do. One tactic they use a lot, which I've seen with like Beyonce, is like the exclusivity, the scarcity. Sometimes like I think that the idea of dropping an album without telling anyone is there's some genius behind it, but it's also leveraging and knowing your audience, right? Obviously, we can't do something like that if you don't have a big audience.
Right.
If you're someone that ain't got a lot of people following you and you drop something and you don't tell nobody, that's your bad. Like, don't do that.
Right.
Because you're not Beyonce.
So as small business owners,
Yes. However, small business owners can still use exclusivity in a different way or scarcity to still create a buzz around what they're dropping. So if you drop something, you might drop it and say there's only 5 spots or there's only a limited time offer. But you got to be like real about that. And you got to build that up in the right way. Like the anticipation of dropping something, I think small businesses don't do that enough. Like they don't tell the story. They don't like build up what it is that they're dropping. They just, sometimes are trying to rush it because, maybe they said I'm supposed to drop this March 1st and now it's, a week before and I'm feeling rushed and I'm just going to hurry up and do it. Oftentimes these launch dates are arbitrary anyway. They're things that we make up on our own.
I know.
Right? Right? It ain't like it's not like the public is saying it needs to come out March 1st. You made that date up and now you're pushing yourself to do it. And then you just kind of fumble through it and
for
do it
whatever
real fast.
reason.
For
It
whatever
could be
reason.
like you need a cash infusion,
That's
or like
probably what it
there's
is.
like maybe it's like your birthday and you would want to do something, launch an offer for your birthday, or
And then you just throw it out there, and it kind of doesn't do as well as it could had you like planned it out, had you like built in some exclusivity, some scarcity, had you told a story about it, had you just kind of built it up in different ways. And that's the
stories sell, right?
Oh man, stories all day.
Stories sell. Like some of our best launches was because they had like a story behind it, like some type of humor. People got excited. They started getting in on the story and like cracking jokes and like trying to anticipate what's going to happen next.
Yeah. So let's be clear about that, because I wanted to talk about that. So if you think about Beyonce, how long has she been in the public eye?
Oh my gosh, since I was a kid.
So her story is something that we're always involved with in some way, right? From her being, little, being a Destiny's Child, to was she on Star Search or something?
Search.
Yep.
And then dating Jay-Z.
There you go.
And then
having kids.
and a whole bunch of drama with her sister in an elevator.
There you go. Yep. And the thing is, so that story is ever evolving, and we're always a part of it. And if you notice, no matter what part of what season she's in, there's an album that typically correlates with that season. You notice that?
That's
when she was going through the drama with Jay-Z, she didn't want to waste a good moment. Husband cheating. They're like, hey, that's bad, but we can make some money off of this, right?
And not to the left, straight to the bank.
That's right. That's right. And not to be insensitive, but she leveraged those rumors and some of those truths, obviously, to actually create a story around it. Didn't she do like a movie or something, like some kind of video, like it was a video for every song or something like that?
Yeah.
Made a whole thing around it. Now, that wasn't my favorite songs. I thought that was like kind of depressing, all that. Yeah. And her walking around with a bat. There's something about a woman walking around the street with a bat.
Is it triggering for you?
I'm like, hey,
we ain't talking about the past.
That ain't never happened to me. Even in the past, I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I used to do my thing back in the day, but no, I didn't. Nobody had no bat. I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. Well, I've heard about other objects, but we won't get into that.
Hey, hold on now. Hold on. Keep this podcast focused on Beyonce.
Okay, business.
It's not about Charles's past. Beyonce, she leveraged that. She leveraged all of those things to create a story and then create the album. I don't know Taylor Swift like that, but from what I understand, she does something similar in terms of her breakups and different guys.
So she's had about 20 in the public, I think.
20 breakups?
I mean, at least 15, 10,
Jeez,
something like that.
I don't know.
At least 10 minimum.
I don't keep up with Taylor Swift.
Me neither. I'm not a Swiftie, but okay. I know she's dated a lot of very public men.
Okay, and wrote songs about him, I'm sure.
And wrote songs about him.
Okay.
And made a whole lot of money.
And then also, you got Rihanna, who I thought what she did was pretty genius in terms of her product line. From what I understand her is when she dropped like her the makeup thing, I think she like opened up different shades that weren't normal, or not normal, weren't out there, but were normal, as in most, women are different shades and different colors, but they didn't have choices like they did until she started to kind of open some things up.
And the quality too, like her lip glosses and a lot of her products are better quality. Yeah. So, I think she was really intentional about that too.
She also did the same thing with her clothing line. Or I remember that she had like it was like people in different body types, and that
very
also
inclusive.
Very inclusive, and it also correlated with her kind of going through her own transition. Being pregnant, being a mother, gaining weight, losing weight, all those different things. And so, anyway, what does all that mean?
That was playing to her customer base.
Exactly.
Like her audience are really inclusive. Like a lot of different people love her music. So, a lot of people now love her brands, other brands.
Yeah. So what can we learn from all that? The storytelling, and also kind of creating an identity around, certain movements, certain struggles where people can see themselves in that and relate to it, and then having a product attached to it. We did it recently too. We've done it actually probably the last couple of months. We always have some kind of monthly promotion, and we're no Beyonce or we ain't got no big following. But what we are able
Sometimes
to do.
I'm Beyonce in the mirror
Well,
by myself.
you do call yourself Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Yes, sometimes you are Beyonce.
That's my Sasha Fierce.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yes. But we do leverage things that we got going on, right? So like when I had my birthday in October, right? I did a birthday special, right? And then we had obviously Black Friday. That's pretty common.
Why didn't we have a birthday special for me? Because we were busy at a conference?
Yeah.
But anyway.
My bad on that one. No, you normally come up with some the promotion. So why did you think of that?
Because I was too busy.
There you go. You was busy at the conference. But we did have like the one we did like for February. We had like our anniversary, right? And we leveraged a story about our anniversary and being a power couple. And then it's like, okay, why don't you guys do some things that can assist you in your branding and your design as a power couple, right?
Talk about those February promotions. Just for a second. I know it's a little off topic, but
yeah, well, I mean, it's
because there were 3 different promotions.
There were 3 different promotions. We tried to leverage the time that it was February, but we also tried to leverage some stories. So Valentine's Day, obviously the 14th. So we try to celebrate like love your brand.
Right.
So that was the theme, right? Love your brand, right? And then
and it was like a 2-page personal landing page,
Yes.
and they got social media graphics.
Yeah.
And
we
so
created like a bundle for them.
like a little bundle
Yes.
for them to, show how much they love their brand.
Correct. And then we did an anniversary promo, which we called Perfect Pair, right? Which was leveraging our anniversary, which is the 18th of February, and telling that story to see if people could relate in some way with that. And then we did a Black History promotion, which I think was towards the end of the month, the last week of the month, in honor of obviously February Black History. And I think we called that one
The Legacy brand.
The Legacy brand. Now, here's the thing. The promo went okay. It did okay. It wasn't one of our best ones. We didn't promote it as often as we normally would, but we have done some other things where we actually just kind of just tell stories through like social media to build up anticipation for an offer, and people latch onto the stories. I remember you did one where you kind of like faked an argument online.
I mean, it wasn't that fake, but it's just started out really real.
True. That's the thing. So be authentic with your marketing and your branding. So we preach that because it's real. And so we actually did have a little bit of a disagreement. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was a disagreement. And so Jonsi leveraged the disagreement to actually start this promotion. So she wrote a post where she seemed like she was mad at me. People love drama, right? And so since
I do too.
Yeah, and since she has way more followers than I do, but people know us as a pair. And when she started to kind of go off, and it seemed like she was talking about me, people was chiming in like, "What's going on with this?" You know what I'm saying? And I responded back and said something kind of like to kind of egg it on, And so now people are tuning into both of our accounts. And actually, I was the one that was going to run the promotion, but because Jonsi had so much people like flooding her account, they kept going to my account to see my response and how things were going. So we actually just leveraged that kind of argument, this public argument, to actually create a promotion. And that promotion actually did really well. It did really well.
It did. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. And then, people recognized it and they were like, "Oh, I see what y'all was doing." But then we did the next month we did something similar and it worked again. So once again, why are we bringing this up? Because people will, in their small business, don't always appreciate how they can leverage so many things that are happening in their lives to get more sales or to invite their audience in. And I understand
it creates a stronger connection with your audience too, because it humanizes your brand.
Yep.
So people, when they invest their money in a company, typically, especially a small business, they want to feel some type of emotional connection. Like, I trust you. My dollars are safe here. So, I would say be open, be authentic.
Yeah. I mean, the more you connect with someone, especially nowadays, the more likely you are to invest with them. And here's the thing, it works the opposite way as well. Think about what's happening to like currently, and not to date the podcast, but currently right now, Elon Musk, right? So recently Trump got reelected, he's in office, You got Elon Musk in there doing whatever he want to do, saying whatever he want to say, and he's rubbing a lot of people wrong, right?
Yes.
And that's directly impacting him because now people are like, Tesla stock is down. People don't want to buy them as often. I hear they're overstocked. They got too many of them now.
Yeah, because people thought he was such an innovator, and he was like this genius.
When we didn't know him,
and now
people liked him.
How kooky this man really is.
Now you getting to know him, you like, oh man, that's not somebody I actually really want to rock with, right? So people, it's working both ways. I'm sure some people now love him more. Some people are super turned off by him and don't want nothing to do with him and his products, and it's really impacting him and his bottom line. And that's just the way it is. And here's the thing about it is we don't really have a choice at this point anymore in our society to be neutral, right? Because if you're neutral, people will decide for you, right? They're just going to choose an allegiance for you. So you might as well be yourself. You might as well come out and be authentic. You might as well be yourself. You might as well not try to front, right? So for us, we love Black business. We are Black business owners. We love serving Black business owners, right, and helping them.
Yes.
We don't have anything against anybody else, but that's our target audience. Nothing wrong with saying that. You know what I'm saying? People can take it however they want, but
we are a DEI company.
That's right. We love DEI. We all for it, right? 100%. And so if that bothers you, then you got other choices. You can go somewhere else. But for the people who rock with that and love that, then they're gonna have a great time with us, and that's what it's about. So going back to Beyonce and all of them, that's what they've been able to leverage to say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. This is where my allegiance is. These are the things I stand for. Beyonce takes pretty strong stances, politically, socially as well. And all of that, once again, aligns with her audience. It just endears her more to them. And so, I know that her recent products that she's launched has been like, what is it? Some kind of hair
care line.
Hair oil thing.
Oil.
Is it oil?
It's a whole hair care line. Like the shampoo, the conditioner, the serum. She got all that.
I heard it ain't doing that well.
I think it's starting to do better, but yeah.
But I honestly don't think she's worried, and I wouldn't worry. If I was her, I would more so just kind of try to figure out the nuance of what does my audience want? What specific thing are they looking for? And then try to cater towards that, because maybe there is a disconnect there in terms of what they actually are asking for when it comes to hair care. I know that she's recently, hooked up with Levi. I'm sure Levi sales is going up, because she's making that popular again.
I do see more people wearing Levi's for some reason.
Probably Beyonce, the Beyonce effect, right? And so, so those are the kind of things that I think as small business owners, we need to lean into, right? Lean into more of who we are and what we're about. So that our audience, when they find us, they can find a place that they, feel secure. It builds that trust. And as that trust is there, you can leverage that obviously for more sales, right? Be exclusive with your offers at time. Have that scarcity. Make sure you tell stories so people can identify. And then, obviously be consistent with it. And that leads to sales. Yeah,
be consistent.
So also one of the common misconceptions as small business owners is that we think that we can't build loyal fan bases, that we can't have people who will ride for us because we're too small. That's just not true.
It's not.
It's not true. Now, okay, and I'll say this in a couple different ways that we experience this. So we have the pleasure we've had to serve 7 to 8 figure business owners and help them with design and different things and branding and some stuff, right? We've seen it firsthand. Companies like, Traffic Sales and Profit, right? Who's an 8-figure brand, headed by Lamar Tyler, great guy. But they have, or you could almost say a cult-like following.
Oh, don't say that. It's not true.
It's not.
It feels, it's like a family following.
It's a family, okay, let's say, I'll correct myself, family following.
Yes.
But however, from the outside looking in, remember, because we had your uncle come.
He did.
Your uncle came to one of the events.
All he did was walk in the door, didn't even take in the fact that there are hundreds of Black 6, 7, and 8-figure people walking around who have amazing brands, who are doing amazing things in their community and giving back and, trying to build legacies. It's real.
Yeah.
He just walked in there, looked around and said, oh, this is a cult.
which is
Jonsi's in a cult.
funny word. Yeah, I mean, cult's not a good word, right? Very
It's
offensive.
not. It's awful. But
Yeah.
he didn't understand that there's a movement.
It's a real movement.
That's real movement
Real
and
movement.
support,
Yeah.
actual support
Yes.
for Black business owners.
That's right. And they've been around for a while, doing a great job. And
They got receipts
they got tons of receipts.
of creating Black millionaires.
Yes. And here's the thing. They've been in Atlanta for how long? Years, right?
Years.
And there's still, because we just moved here, but there's still people that we could run into. We'd say, hey, you know about TSP? And they're like, nah, I ain't never heard of them.
Ever.
Which is crazy, right? Because
Super crazy.
once you get into it, you're like, it feels all consuming. It feels like everyone should know and would know about them, right? But it's not true. So the point is that I'm making with this is that a misconception is that you have to be so well known, like worldwide big for people to know you. And that's not true because they're big. They're an 8-figure brand. They're only in Atlanta. They're known in different pockets, but even in Atlanta, they're not like dominating Atlanta, right? So it's, so even, and I'll say even with us, even at a smaller scale, our business, like we ain't, for us, we just trying to do what we trying to do. But still, when we walk around in public and we got our gear on, babe, how many times do people yell out and say that they've seen us before? They've seen us on social media. They know who we are.
It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy how often that happens. And we are literally, man, we got videos that be getting like, it seemed like 10 views, right?
I know. I'm like, nobody knows about Panda Commission. But then we go into the community and people are like, oh, I recognize you.
Yeah.
Hey, Panda.
I know you, right? They've been like, I've been following you for 2 years now. We're like, what? So, and have some brand loyalty in that we've had people who advocate for us.
Yes.
Right? There's been times.
Who've never purchased anything from us. And there's been times where, like, I remember, because you're more popular than me. And, and unfortunately online, sometimes, women get a little different online. I just love my online business women communities.
Yeah.
They're just, yeah.
I mean, it's positive for the most part, but sometimes it can be a little negative.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So there was a point where people got a little upset with you. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I wonder why.
They didn't like the
no more ugly.
They didn't like the no more ugly line that we got going on. We were saying no more ugly websites. And, we was like a hit dog will holla. Like, I've been saying, like, we wasn't calling nobody's website ugly. We was not going around hitting people up, being like, hey, by the way, your site is trash. We wasn't doing that, right? We didn't say that. We wasn't even intending that. We were just saying, as a community, if you serious about your business, you want to present yourself in the best way, let's stop with the ugly websites. Like, let's move past that. That's all we were saying, right? Trying to uplift people.
Because nobody gets an award for an ugly website.
Nah, or for you doing it yourself.
Or
right?
doing it yourself.
And the thing is, we know people out here trying to really, may have impact, make money. So we know that the branding matters. And so we're trying to encourage them to walk away from these ugly websites. Anyway, folks got mad at you. They started a whole trend,
I was ready to take my earrings off because
they don't know you.
I'm from New York.
They don't know you.
I've been fighting since I was
all my life.
All my life I had to fight.
Yeah, so they didn't know you. So we handled that the right way, like how we normally handle things. But what was great about what I saw was that there are some people that came to your defense, right? Some people they was talking about us, like I say us because me and you we're the same, but they was talking about us like they knew us, like they had purchased from us, like they had experiences with us. They ain't know nothing about us
at all.
And then when they had to, people said some things, there were people who came to our defense like, hey, I actually work with them. I've worked with them before. I've never had that experience. Or when they're saying that, this is what they mean. If you know them or you listen to them or you follow them, they are not at all trying to...
They know our heart.
Yeah, they're not trying to clown nobody. They're not trying to attack nobody. Like, they're just really trying to look out. And so that's, so once again, to kind of bring that home, the point I'm making here is that even if you are a small business with a smaller audience, if you do all these things the right way, in terms of telling your story, getting people to identify with you, bringing them into exclusive offers, exclusive experiences, you're consistent, they will build that brand loyalty to you and fight for you and ride with you and eventually spend money with you over time.
Speaking of money, we're going to pay some bills right now. Your online presence may be holding you back, but we can fix that. Entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, be honest. Are you proud of your website, or do you cringe every time someone asks you for your link? Here's the deal. You don't need to gamble on a full redesign. With Panda Commission's Divine Redesign Movement, you get a pro-level website or funnel mockup for just $100, risk-free. We're talking expert design, not run-of-the-mill templates that everyone else is using. In less than a week, you'll have a high-converting, premium look for your brand. Love it? Move forward with a full redesign. Don't? Walk away, no pressure. Spots are limited, and your next client is judging your website right now. Don't let bad design cost you business. Your digital breakthrough is just one redesign away. Lock in your $100 mockup today at mydivineredesign.com. Panda Commission, premium design for your business at every stage. So how does this apply to small businesses, right? You don't need to be a pop star to build an audience, especially one that actually buys from you.
Totally. So if you're a small business owner and you're trying to figure out how to create this following, this loyal fan base, there really is, pretty much 3 steps. Is you got to create an emotional connection, right? You got to be able to really tap into that emotion that you can leverage to kind of build, that trust. You also need to be consistently excellent, really. You gotta make sure that you are always showing up the right way, doing your thing, in the best way you can. And then also you want to leverage that community to create kind of exclusive offers. So we'll walk through those things. So creating that emotional connection. So a lot of people don't understand or don't fully give a lot of weight to how buying is an emotional decision. Like when you decide to purchase something, you are pretty much at the height of your emotion, right? And then after you buy, logic comes in to try to justify what you just did. That's typically the process. Let me take you, for an example, let me take you through the process of like purchasing a car.
Okay.
Like, so you want to purchase a car for whatever reason. Maybe your car is broken down, you need one, there's so many different reasons why you may need a car. You go to the car lot, and as the car salesman's kind of walking you around, what do they try to get you to do as soon as you kind of zero in on a car that you like? What do they want you to do?
I mean, they want you to maybe get in it.
They want you to get in it.
Get a feel for it, get acclimated to it because they want you to buy it.
They want you to buy it. They also want you to do what? They want you to test drive it, right? Why do they want you to test drive it?
So that you can do all the things I just said.
Yes, right? But what is that doing to you? If you think about that process.
It's like a transfer of ownership almost.
Okay, yes. In your mind, right, when you go through the process of getting in the car, you adjust in the seat, right? You adjust in the mirror. You getting the music the right way you want it, right? Right. All of a sudden, as you start driving around, what's happening to you emotionally?
I mean, you're imagining yourself having this car, owning the car.
Absolutely. You imagine it's your car, right? And if you have a great experience with the car, then you almost are like, you start to feel this connection, right? And then when you go drop it off, and oftentimes what they'll do is they're like, okay, let's go inside. And they'll try to park that car like somewhere visible so you can still see it. So you can
still see it while you're discussing the car.
Because automatically you're starting to think to yourself, like, that's my car, right? And they'll even start to use words like that. Hey, should I wash your car?
Fill up your tank.
Yeah, all those different things, right? Because they're creating that emotional connection, because then at that point, when it comes to negotiate, they have a leg up. Because now you're emotionally attached to it. You love the way it smelled. You were like, oh man, this thing was so smooth. It's so much better than my car. The seats, you're imagining riding around in it. So you got this thing, and you start to feel like it's yours. And so now the negotiations are gonna, be a little bit in their favor because emotionally you're at a height, right? So then you get the car, they got you on an emotional high, and then afterwards, when you're driving it home, and you sleep at night, that's when you start thinking about, dang, should I really pay for that car? Did we really need that?
Is this car reasonable?
Exactly.
I should have gotten
this other one that was cheaper. Yeah, that's when the logic kicks in. So why am I saying that? Because the emotional part is such a heavy part of the transaction with sales. That's why companies go so hard to create these like commercials and imagery that hooks you emotionally, right? When they're trying to sell you a trip to go somewhere, Carnival Cruise, they'll show you this elaborate kind of like experience that likely you're probably not going to have when you get there, but it looks amazing, right?
Yeah, because they have like the happy family and like you can kind of imagine your kids playing on the beach too.
That's right. That's right. It don't matter what it is, right? It could be, trying to sell you food. It could be trying to sell you a service, a product. It don't matter. These companies go through a lot to advertise and market and to provide experiences that are emotional so that when you see it, you're like, man, I really want that feeling.
That's why companies like ours are in business.
Exactly, right? I want to have that feeling. I want to, experience whatever they're experiencing, right? And so as small business owners, we need to learn how to play onto that and to create those emotional connections. Find out what the emotion is first, right? Because with us, we know that our clients, what emotion do they want to feel? What emotion are we tapping into when we do our products and services for our clients?
Well, we're creating like more confidence for them because a lot of our clients are speakers, authors, coaches, entrepreneurs. So like the speakers, for instance, when they send out their pitch proposals, to try to get these speaking opportunities, we create these EPKs that make them look amazing, that match how amazing they are offline.
Exactly.
So, they still need all the speaking points. They need the accolades and the proof that they're the bomb.
Yes.
But when they have this EPK and they send it out to people, it's like, oh, I really am the ish. Let me show you.
That's right. Or their website.
Right.
So you hit the nail on the head. We tap into the emotion of confidence.
Yes.
So when people work with us, they experience more confidence. Why? Because of how we build them up, right? And we show it in the way that we promote our clients and promote our work, right? We show them in a way that they look like an authority, right? We do that on purpose because when people see that, they can see themselves and they go, oh, I want to be presented in a similar way, right? And so that's what we're selling. So we know that emotion. So similarly, other, small business owners should understand what emotion are you, tapping into? What emotion are people coming to you for? Are they looking to get some type of, relief from, feeling stressed, or are they
trying to do all the designs themselves or not find the right designer?
Yeah, no, and let's think about like some other industries, like maybe like a financial coaching or whatever, or an accountant. The stress of managing your money, so they're trying to find that relief, right? And so the way that you can try to create experiences, at least in your marketing, that shows that you are an answer to that problem, that's going to connect with them emotionally.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to think of different examples for
Most
people.
definitely.
Yeah.
That was
good. So that's one. The other one is being consistently excellent. What does that mean? That means that every time people experience you, they're experiencing the best of you, right?
That's a bar, Charles.
Somewhat, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Consistently excellent?
Consistently excellent.
Yeah.
Well, one would argue, if you think about Beyonce, how she had a bad album.
Oh.
I'm saying it's subjective. Some people may feel that way,
right?
But her loyal fans pretty much feel like she can't miss.
Yes, that's true. The Beehive feels like she can't miss.
Even with the Cowboy Carter, which I know,
That ain't... Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah. But it still has some hits on it.
It did.
Yeah.
They're not for everybody, but the Beehive loved it.
Yeah.
Her community loved it.
And to some degree, it didn't miss because it still, I think it won a Grammy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, it did.
It did.
She finally got her accolades.
Yeah. She got a whole bunch of buzz from it. It was very controversial in some ways, but it did what it was supposed to do.
For country music.
Yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. Beyonce still delivered, right? She still delivered on what she does. She pushes the envelope. She does some things that, cause people to talk.
Was it best album? Was that
I think it was. The best album. So, she delivered on it, consistently excellent, right? So in what ways can we be consistently excellent, right? So when it comes to our small business, we talk about our branding, we talk about our design, we talk about our products, our services, how we show up online, our videos, everything that we do. How can we be consistently excellent so that people
Not
can,
just your messaging, but your
yeah,
visuals
not just
as
your
well.
copy, your visuals as well. Absolutely. All the ways, right? Even your, the experiences after people purchase your product, right? The emails they get, the phone call they get, the customer service they experience, all these
Yes.
different things. How can we be consistently excellent, right? Because that is going to endear you once again more to that. You're going to feel more connected. The clients feel more connected to you, right? As they have great experiences with you over and over and over again, right? Think about that in terms of relationships. What you laugh for?
Because you have all these great analogies. So go ahead.
Well, I'll think about like the first time. I'll say our first time we met.
Okay.
Wasn't great for me.
It wasn't great for me either. I mean, it was great, but then you started talking to
Yeah.
me and I was like,
God made it great.
God made it great.
It wasn't great.
And you were trying to,
I was trying to mess it up.
you were trying to mess it up.
So story is so for those that don't know our story. So how we met, it was a dark, gloomy night.
It was raining.
Raining in January, I think it was.
Yes.
And I was on the subway on my way home from Brooklyn, and I lived in Harlem. And it was just one of those long hours plus long train rides. For those who are from New York, I was going from Canarsie, Brooklyn to Harlem, 125th. And actually, my stop was 116th, but I was going to 125th because I needed to go to the AT&T store to fix my phone because it had just like decided not to work anymore. And I could not figure it out. I was really upset. The phone was not working. I couldn't listen to my music. I couldn't listen to my podcast or my audiobooks.
Which is really important if you ride the subway
really
in New York.
If you're riding on the subway, okay? For an hour and a half, you got to deal with all these people who are touching you, like rubbing up against your legs, and people saying weird things and
asking for change
and performing concerts. Your weapon is your headphones, right?
You can tune it all out.
You can tune it all out. You can be in your own world, your own zone, right? And also, it's almost like a defense because when people want to come talk to you and you got your headphones on, you could be like, hey, like you could act like you don't hear them, right? But when you ain't got nothing, I still put my headphones on. I still acting.
You were faking listening.
I was faking the funk, but it still didn't really work because I still heard everything.
Yeah.
And for an hour and a half, I even tried to sleep. I couldn't. Right. So anyway, I got off the train. I was upset, and I'm walking to 125th. And I get into the AT&T store, and I'm upset, and I'm like, it's kind of late. You guys are about to close, but I'm like, okay, I need to be seen. So I check in. I see my name on the board, and for whatever reason, like my name was like dancing around on the board. And I felt like people was playing around. Like people wasn't really like getting to the next person. They was like picking and choosing. And I was just like getting upset. And I was like, man, whoever finally calls me, they gonna get this work. Like I'm upset. And
what happened was, it was like all the other sales reps, because I was a salesperson, all the other sales reps were busy. And I was actually supposed to leave that day. I was there getting a few extra hours because I was trying to get my coins. I was trying to get to the bag. And so I stayed way later than I was supposed to. So you could have been waiting a long time.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you finally chose my name.
I rescued you.
But when you came over, I was like, okay, she cute, but I don't care about that right now. You gonna get this work. So I was a little irritated. And so I gave you a little attitude.
You were pissed.
I gave you a little attitude, and then you said something back that was your own Jonsi way. You had like this like smile on your face, but you said something like really condescending. But you had a smile when you said it. And I was like, are you being condescending?
And I was like, no.
I felt so bad because in that moment, I just realized how much of a jerk I was being. And so I was like, let me start over. And I apologized to you. And I said, hey, I'm sorry. I've been having a long day. Can I start over? And you were like, yeah, it's cool. And then you like walked away and you went and you were like switching out my SIM card or something like that. And that's when I started to see you a little bit. I was like, okay, I need to figure this out real quick. How am I going to transition? And then you came back, and then I heard the word family, like audibly, right? I felt like God was talking to me, and I was like, family? Remember I started asking you about your family? Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, where you from? Like, where your people from?
And I was like,
because I thought God was trying to tell me you was like my cousin or something like that.
Like, what is he getting to?
Like, what is this? Like, is she related to me in some way? But that was it. And then I tried to get your number
because I felt like God spoke to me too.
Yeah, you said you had a
before
experience.
I saw you. Well, when I saw you, because it was a big store. I mean, it's huge. And so I saw you across the room and you had like this golden glow around you. And I'd never seen that before in my entire life. It was like you had this radiating energy. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to help this person.
That's crazy. Every time you say that, I just think about like, he got the glow, from Bruce Leroy.
It was kind of like that, but it wasn't like as bright. It was like a soft glow.
It must have been God.
It was God. Because that never happened to me before.
That was crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And then I remember I asked for your number and you gave me your business card. And I was like, this your number? And you like, that's my number. I'm like, this your number or the business number? You like, this is my number. And I was like, okay. So I remember I called you just to make sure. And so the rest was history. And I can't remember now why you even started telling that story. I had a tie-in.
You became a fan. That's what happened.
It was okay. It was our interaction. So after that interaction, I remember the next time, because I say the way I transitioned, I said, hey, I'm doing a blog online. I'm starting an online blog, and you said I do editing, right? Mm-hmm. Or you write?
I was writing.
So I said, hey, you could maybe contribute to my blog. Mm-hmm. And so the first time we were supposed to meet up was supposed to talk about business.
Yeah.
But then when we actually met up, we both didn't know if it was a date or not.
I know, but I was dressed.
But the way you were dressed,
it could be a date.
Ooh, man.
Maybe it could be.
That was the thing. So I remember, like, when I saw you at AT&T, you were not, you were not dressed like you were trying to impress anybody
at all.
But you still were impressive.
I was toe down,
still really cute and all that.
I was in grind mode.
But when I saw you that night for the date-ish, that's when I knew. I was like, oh wow, right? But the point I'm making is that like every interaction we had from that moment on, we kept reinforcing this thing to each other that we were like in a good place, right? Because I think we pretty much started to see each other almost daily after that. Mm-hmm. And each time we kept having these very positive experiences. Even though, the initial experience wasn't great, we still like showed how we were able to kind of weather that storm, right? Me having an attitude, you kind of,
It's like the Aaliyah song, I might be bugging on the first date. What about the next date?
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, but the point is that every interaction, I remember that we kept having these positive interactions. And even when we would annoy each other or do something that wasn't like, like we didn't like, it didn't like kill the feeling. Mm-hmm. Like we were still able to continue to build in a positive way to a point where we pretty much were like, we might as well just be there's no other reason why, right?
Yeah.
So why do I say that? Now I'm bringing it home. It's because similarly, like when you are courting a product or service, you're looking for those positive interactions. And you're looking for every interaction to be something that you could build on that builds that trust to say, you know what? I remember I experienced that company before, they were this way, and then I experienced them again and they were that way. Then I saw their ad and it was that way. And you keep having, and then eventually you start to be like, you know what? Let me go ahead and rock with them. Does that make sense?
A great way to bring it home.
Yeah. Because it really happens in real life.
Yeah.
Because I think about like certain experiences I have with certain companies, and it really only takes, especially when you're at the evaluation stage, it only takes one time for them to mess up. Like you get that one interaction, like you was
you're
about
like,
to...
I knew it.
You was about to do something, and then somebody get attitude with you that works for the company. You like, nah, I ain't messing with them. I knew I knew something was wrong with them.
Yep.
Yes. So as small business owners, we have to be aware of this and leverage this and use it to our advantage.
So what I got from all this is people don't just buy products, right? They buy identities and experiences.
Yes, absolutely. Right. They're buying into a movement, if you will, like the beehive, right? the Swifties, right? They're buying into something like that. And even sometimes at a smaller scale, we do that because once you start buying Starbucks, you're a Starbucks drinker, right? Once you you think about brand allegiance, our boys, as soon as they discovered McDonald's, they wasn't trying to eat nothing else. and would fight somebody if you said that, McDonald's fries is trash. They like, what? No, so yes, that's what it is. That's where we need to understand that and use that to our advantage.
And it's like the best brands make customers feel like they're part of something bigger.
Absolutely. And that's what it is. People want to feel like that. We're in that kind of climate. Politically, we're in that climate. Socially, we're in that climate. Honestly, I hate to say it, but like from a marketing perspective, I kind of knew and kind of had, hints that the recent election in terms of Trump coming back was going to go that way, just based on how he was able to create that feeling within people in terms of them being a part of something bigger. Now, obviously, it's not something that we are aligned with in terms of the things that he was bringing out and saying and the people he was galvanizing and making, but they felt like they could find a home in him, right? He was saying certain things, you could say dog whistles or sometimes just straight up saying it, but they were like, yes, that's what I've been wanting to hear. That's what I want to be a part of. Unfortunately, on the other side, it wasn't as strong, right? There were some things being said, but it wasn't like a strong enough counter or a strong enough opposition for people on the other side of the fence to feel like they can attach to that. And so oftentimes when it comes to those types of things, whoever does that the best wins. And also when it comes to products and services, as you're trying to sell, like when people are trying to evaluate, like say you're a coach and they're trying to evaluate which coaching program they should attach themselves to, they're going to go with whatever one makes them feel most connected, right? So sometimes you got to be really clear about who you are and who you're not, so people can be like, oh, that's who I rock with, and that's usually who they're going to spend their money with. If you're someone who's like trying to be like, I don't know, I don't want to offend nobody, then likely you're going to, mess around and not attract as many people as you should.
That's very true.
So the last thing really is that, you don't need to be famous to create a fan base, right? You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers. You just need, 100 people, 1,000 people to rock with you. And then that's not crazy, especially on social media.
I mean, when you consider how many billions of people there are in the world, and we have the internet, and you can access these people.
You can if you find 100 people, you're going to make some money. You can find 1,000, you're going to make even more money. And likely if you just get 1,000 or so, that'll make you a millionaire, especially online. So it really is not crazy. You just got to be consistent. You just got to be intentional with your branding. And that consistency over time, leveraging the emotions, leveraging all these things is going to lead to you having likely a successful business.
If you want to start branding like a celebrity without the celebrity budget, hit us up at Panda Commission. We'll help you build a brand that attracts a loyal fan base.
All right. Now, if you love this episode and you enjoyed what you were hearing, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, if you felt like it was valuable information, go ahead and share it to someone that, could probably be blessed from this information. Also, please follow us on IG, Instagram, on Facebook, and also YouTube at Panda Commission. Just type in Panda Commission, you'll find us. And also, lastly, hit us up in the comments. If you felt like this was something that resonated with you, like you're trying to build a brand, but you are, not sure how to really build, those loyal fans, or you've actually been able to have some success with a small audience, go ahead and put it in the comments and let people know how you did it so people can also, get value from that. So once again, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, Panda Commission. You can find us, join us, become a part of this Panda family.
If your brand looks cheap, people will assume your business is too. Coaches, speakers, small business owners, be honest. Does your brand look like the premium high-value business you say it is? Or does it scream, I did it myself, but this ain't my ministry? Listen, a powerful brand isn't just designed, it's built with intention. And if your brand looks basic, don't expect premium clients. That's where Panda Commission comes in. We take care of all your design needs, websites, funnels, and graphics. Unlimited, high-quality designs completely done for you. No more unreliable freelancers, no more overpriced agencies, just a flat monthly rate and branding that actually increases your conversions. It's time to show up like the authority you are. Get unlimited premium design. Visit pandacommission.com and sign up today. Panda Commission, premium design for your business at every stage.